Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Josh here with Bees in the Weeds, and we have a fun video for you today, hopefully an educational video. So it is March 14th. We're on the cusp of springtime. It is scramble mode for me to get these final preparations ready for the honey flow, which is about to hit here in Kentucky. I've been working on stuff all winter long, but quite honestly, I've just been procrastinating on making these frames. So that's what I'm in here doing in the shop today, even though it's an absolutely gorgeous day outside. I think we're supposed to get something like, it's like 75 right now. We're supposed to get close to 80, which is unseasonably warm here in Kentucky for the middle of March. So what are we working on today? What has Josh been procrastinating on for over a month? And that is, drum roll, making and prepping for comb honey. So if you've been watching my channel for a few years now, you will know that I have absolutely sucked and been unsuccessful at trying to get comb honey for my customers. It's not due to a lack of trying. So my first year, I started out trying the hog half comb. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that. It's a product that I got off Better Bees website. It's kind of a pre-packaged super that has these little plastic cassettes inside, and they're pre-waxed on the inside. Supposed to be where the bees go in there, draw the comb, and then you pull it out. You just put the cap on, and it's supposed to be, super easy, hands off, not a lot of prep work involved. Well, I don't know. I just haven't had any luck using that. I do know that you kind of need a good combo. You need really strong colonies. You need a really good flow. And I think you need a little bit of luck, to be honest with you. I don't know. I've tried it for 2 years. I haven't been successful with it. With the amount of colonies that I lost this winter, by the way, final numbers, I was overwintering 18. I've lost 9. So I've lost 50%. First time I've ever lost any colonies. Like I said before, it stinks. But you know what? We're going to build back. I've got a very positive attitude about this. And I'm going to trap a lot of bees this year. And I'm going to do some splits, and we'll be right back to where we were in no time. I'm confident of that. So, yeah. Terrible, the hog half comb system. I'm sure it's worked great for some people. I haven't had any luck with it. Then I tried the simple comb, which I think it's a great idea. I really like what the fries are trying to accomplish with it. I just haven't had much luck with it either. I'm hoping to try it again this year. We'll see. But because of the amount of colonies, I'm kind of set back. I'm kind of limited on these colonies that I want to dedicate just to doing either simple comb or just dedicating to doing comb honey, because I'm out of regular honey. I've got customers blowing up my phone, knocking down my door, wanting regular honey. So that's really going to be my primary focus. But I still am desperately trying to create some comb honey because it's the number one demand product by far. So yeah, haven't had any luck with simple comb. So I'm like, you know what? My buddy Dave Handsbury, and I hate to admit this, but no, I'm just kidding. He is really good at making comb honey. He's won blue ribbons around here in the state of Kentucky, his comb honey. So engineer in me says, hey, stupid, don't try to reinvent the wheel. Why not just copy what he does, and you'll have beautiful comb honey as well. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Dave's famous saying, if you don't watch his channel, you should go check it out. It's Hansdbury Honeybees. You can search on YouTube for it. He just started on YouTube, but his favorite saying is, don't do what I do. Well, I'm going to do exactly what Dave does. And because he makes really good comb honey, and I want to make really good comb honey. So, but yeah, check out his channel. He has really good videos. Scratch that. He needs to work on his video editing skills quite a bit. He has videos out there. The content is very good as far as the subject of bees and what he's doing. But Dave, buddy, we need to teach you some computer skills and how to edit. So that's on my list to help you with. So we'll get there. But what I want to show you all today is the Dave Handsbury method. And he credits a lot of, and it's not like he invented this from scratch. He credits a lot of the comb honey practices that he uses with Michael Palmer. So there's some really good Michael Palmer YouTube videos out there. They're several years old, but the content is ageless, right? That talks about how he makes really good comb honey. And so Dave has used a lot of those practices with adding some of his own. And so I was just on the phone with Dave a lot and texting him like, okay, what frames do you buy? What thin surplus do you buy? How do you secure it inside the frame? How much comb honey do you put in a super compared to regular comb, etc.? And so that's what I'm going to show you today. And I'm going to show you how to prep this comb honey so that you can get blue ribbon wearing comb honey, blue ribbon winning comb honey to be able to consume on your own or to sell your customers. So I've got everything set up here. I've already done a handful of frames. I wanted to make sure that I was able to do it like Dave does successfully. It looks pretty good to me. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look now, and I'll show you how we do it. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So to begin with, and I'll set this frame aside, the one I just completed. I created a little makeshift jig, super simple, just a piece of particle board, just a regular board, doesn't have to be this, just anything, any scrap board you have laying around, and I glued this to this larger piece such that a medium-sized frame just fits around it, okay? And all this does, it just keeps it from sliding around. So I'm probably going to build maybe something at the top here so I can actually just kind of push this up against the top, but this is really all you need, okay? So set it in there, set your frame in there, and of course, you already have your frames assembled, and I should note that these are the, what are they called, wedge style frames. So the first thing that you want to do is split this wedge off, okay? And you can discard it, you're not going to need that. And so set your frame on top of your little jig here, and you'll see the reason why I have this piece of wood in this jig in just a second. And go ahead and grab a piece of your thin surplus, and what you want to do is you want to kind of push it up in that where that wedge was so that it's all the way to the top. Now, this particular wax foundation that I bought from the Honeybee Connection, I'm not sure why it's this much shorter than these Man Lake frames, but you know, it's lacking about a ½ inch on each side. But that's okay. The bees won't mind. All you really want to do is seal this in and get it sealed well, and the bees will bridge this. Now, this gap here was done on purpose, and this is what Dave does, okay? So he said, Michael Palmer said, that if you buy shallow, thin plus foundation, it's perfect for a medium-sized frame. The reason why you don't want to buy medium, the correct size wax foundation for the correct size frame is it may get a little bit warped, and when the bees hang on it, it could get a little wonky. And comb honey, especially blue ribbon winning comb honey, is all about presentation, right? It's all about presentation because the judges aren't opening up and taking a chunk of the comb honey and eating it. So it's presentation. And if you want that pristine, nice looking piece of chunk comb honey, this is one of the methods to get that. So you purchase shallow wax foundation, put it in your medium frame, and when the bees come on here and start drawing the wax out, they will hang on this, and it will tend to stretch this wax a little bit, almost perfectly to where the wax gets stretched towards the bottom, and the bees will fill this gap. They'll fill all around it, and it'll come out looking as beautiful as you want it to. So that's the reason why we purposely leave this a little bit short. Again, my first year trying this, so I'm just saying what Dave does, right? So do what Dave does, okay? So now you see why I have this piece of wood, right? This piece of wood in my jig is the same thickness as half of the top bar here. So that when you put that piece of wax foundation in here, it has something to rest on so it's not sloughing down at an angle, okay? Get a crock pot, heat it up with pure beeswax. That's what I have here. I have these 2 half-pound blocks of beeswax that I use as weights. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this frame towards the top of the jig, make sure that that piece of wax is in there at the top, and then use these in the corner, these little half-pound beeswax, as a weight so that this piece of foundation doesn't slide around on me as I'm sealing in the wax. This is a syringe that you might recognize, those of you that use Apiguard, which is a thymol-based varroa miticide. This is the syringe that comes with that kit. And so I had one laying around, and I'm like, that's what I'm going to use to suck up beeswax and put a bead of beeswax at the top of this frame to seal in the foundation. And that's all you do. You just draw up some of this beeswax, and obviously you have to work a little quick. And then you just put a bead right at the top here. A little bit more in the corner here. Just like that. Now, obviously, make sure that you squirt the extra beeswax out, pull your syringe up, squirt it out again 2 or 3 times, and this keeps that beeswax from clogging up your syringe, so that obviously you can keep using it. And then I just wait. It usually takes about, I don't know, 30, 45 seconds for this beeswax to set up to the point that you can flip it over. And here, let me grab the camera and I'll show you. Make sure you get a good view of this. So you just put a bead right there, all along the top edge. And you just wait for that to dry. Like I said, it doesn't take very long. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove the 2 weights. And all you're going to do is carefully turn your frame over, remove any extra wax that may have fallen on your jig, and that's it. Put your weights back on the frame. Get your syringe. Almost like a, caulking gun. Put a nice bead there. It's good to put on both sides just to give it some extra stability, I guess, or, to make sure it's secured well to the frame. Because especially this one where it's short on each side, it's literally dangling from the top. So when the bees get on there, you want to make sure that it doesn't just slough off. I'm going to have to maybe check out Man Lake's Thin Surplus for next year, because the Honeybee Connection, I think they're in like Moorhead, Kentucky or something. They just had a good deal on this. So when I was at the Apis Rescue event, I just picked up 100 sheets. But that's it, literally. So we'll let this dry and, 1 frame down and however many you want to do. So let's talk about how to put this in the supers. So it's like a broken record. What Dave does is, you've got let's say you've got your super. We use 10 frame equipment, he and I both. So if you use 8 frame equipment, just adjust accordingly. But if you've watched my videos, you saw last year, in a 10 frame box, I only use 9 frames because I want that comb to be a little extra thick. I want the bees to draw it out a little wider so that you can get your uncapping knife, or if you're fancy like Dave, your uncapping machine can easily take off that top layer. Whereas if you use 10 frames, the bees only draw the wax right to the edge of this frame, and sometimes it can be hard to use your knife and get those cappings off. So what Dave does is, and I think it should be dry now. So this piece of comb foundation will go in the super in positions, let's say 3 and 7. Okay, so of the 9 frames, 7 of them will be drawn comb. So imagine this has foundation on it, plastic foundation, and fully drawn comb. A frame that I used last year that I extracted honey out that I stored over winter. Okay, I have tons of those, so I have a lot of drawn comb. That's a beekeeper's gold. Okay, you're going to take 2 frames of drawn comb, and they're going to go on either side of the comb honey. And again, so let's say this is frame 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Frame 3 and frame 7 will be the comb honey. Frames 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9 will be completely drawn comb, honeycomb. And what that does is, beekeeping is all about bee spacing, okay? It's not that you couldn't put these together next to each other. You can. Beekeepers do. I mean, especially if you capture a swarm, you could almost make the argument that you want to give them an entire super full of nothing but these comb sheets of foundation, right, for comb honey. Because swarms are wax-producing machines, and they'll draw those out lickety-split. I think the reason why Dave does it this way is if it's not a swarm, okay, it's kind of extra insurance that the bees are not going to draw out super wonky, wavy comb honey, because what did I just say earlier? Comb honey is 115% about presentation. And so you want that comb honey to come out nice and flat and full and just, perfect. But you can see where it's got a nice bead here at the top of the bar on both sides, and it's holding that in place just fine. So when the bees, come the springtime, when I put this in the super and the bees come on here and they start to weigh this down and stretch it, they're going to fill in all these gaps and, God willing, give me some comb honey for the first time in my going on 5 years of beekeeping, or going into my 5th spring here. So that's it. I just want to kind of show you what I call the Dave Handsbury method of comb honey. And if I'm successful, my hat's off to Dave, because I haven't had success doing other methods. I'm not going to completely give up. I mean, I'll try the simple comb again. I'll try the hog half comb. I think this method probably doesn't need those, the perfect storm. I think you still need strong colonies and healthy colonies to get comb honey, but this is a little more forgiving method than I think that, hog half comb or the simple comb. So we'll see how it works. I don't know. It's like the old saying, it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if he's got a method that works, why would I not copy that? I mean, it just seems kind of like a no-brainer to me. So that's it. Kind of a short video today, but just wanted to show you what I'm in the shop working on. We got, lots of inspections to do coming up. I did get into the 9 remaining colonies. They're all looking pretty good. They're gonna make it. I've got 8 green dot queens and 1 red dot queen. So one gal has made it through 2 winters. All the others are from last year. And so if you don't know how the coloring system in queen bees works, it's, will you remember, this is the saying you remember, is will you raise good bees? So white, will, you, yellow, raise, red, good, green, bees, blue. So last year's queens were green. Brand new queens that are hatched this year and get mated are going to get blue dots. So inevitably, I'm going to have some swarms because I run singles, but I'm going to keep a close eye on these this year, because I'm going to really try to split probably all 9 colonies early this spring, and to try to prevent swarming, but also to try to replenish my numbers, which means I may not get a huge honey crop this year, right? Splitting the colonies, it is what it is. But we'll see. I've still had success getting honey off of colonies that have been split before. It's just the colony that has the mated queen is the one that's gonna keep doing well and raising bees and get more honey. It's the one that, if you're asking them to raise their own queen in an emergency cup, that's going to set you back a month, which is why you really want to try to maybe find find a frame of swarm cells from another colony and make sure that that frame of swarm cells goes into the colony that does not have the queen. But we're getting we're getting off topic for the purpose of this video. I'll do an upcoming either walk away split or some form of a split video coming up when I do these splits in the spring. But just want to take a minute and show you what my plan is for the comb honey. My fingers are crossed, my toes are crossed, everything's crossed. And I hope that I hope I'm successful this year and I can finally have some beautiful, nice square pieces of comb honey to set on the table at the farmer's market for all my folks in the area to be able to taste and enjoy. So that's it for this video. God bless you and your bees. You guys have a beautiful day, and I'll see you on the next one.